Marcus Aurelius, the last of the five good emperors, the philosopher-king whose private journal, Meditations, has become a Bible for self-mastery, read by athletes, CEOs, and presidents. We picture him as a statue, calm, wise, and unshakable, a god-king in human form. But this image is a lie. What if the man who taught the world how to conquer fear was, himself, living in a state of constant, gnawing anxiety? What if his famous book wasn't a guide for us, but a desperate lifeline for him? In the next few minutes, we will strip away the myth, examine the mind of the most powerful man on earth, and uncover his one greatest fear. To understand his mind, you must first understand his world. It was a world on fire. His reign, from 161 to 180 AD, was not a peaceful time of philosophical reflection. It was an unending nightmare. The Antonine Plague, possibly smallpox, swept through the empire, killing millions, perhaps a quarter of the entire population. It was an apocalyptic event. At the same time, barbarian tribes stormed the northern frontiers along the Danube River. Marcus spent almost the entire last decade of his life not in a Roman palace, but in a cold, damp military tent on the front lines, waging a brutal, grinding war. His own general, Avidius Cassius, betrayed him and declared himself emperor. His wife, Faustina, was surrounded by rumors of infidelity. His own son and heir, Commodus, showed signs of the monster he would later become. Every single day, he was confronted with death, betrayal, plague, and the crushing weight of an empire on the brink of collapse. There was no escape. This was the pressure cooker in which Meditations was forged. And this is the key. Meditations was never meant to be a book. He never intended for you or me to read it. It was his private journal, written in Greek, the language of philosophy, likely in the pre-dawn hours in that cold military tent. It's not a book of answers. It's a book of practice. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't a calm statement of fact. This is a command, a desperate piece of self-talk from a man whose world is defined by chaotic outside events he cannot control. 2,000 years before the invention of modern psychology, Marcus Aurelius was pioneering a technique we now call cognitive reframing. He was actively trying to reprogram his own mind, to separate what he could control, his thoughts and reactions, from the overwhelming horror of what he couldn't. His writings are a series of exercises, reminders to himself, to see things for what they are, to accept what is, to act with virtue regardless of the outcome. Think of it this way. When he writes, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts," he is not just offering a pleasant aphorism. He is giving himself a direct order. He is reminding himself that the plague, the wars, the betrayals, these things are external. They can destroy his body, his empire, his legacy, but they cannot touch his inner self, his soul, unless he allows them to. Stoicism, for him, wasn't a philosophy of passive acceptance. It was an active psychological weapon against despair. It was mental armor. He constantly practiced imagining the worst-case scenario, a technique called premeditatio malorum, not to be morbid, but to inoculate himself against shock and grief. He was training his mind to endure the blows he knew were coming, day after day. This isn't the practice of a calm man. This is the practice of a man who knows he is fragile and is doing everything in his power to keep himself from breaking. So what was it? What was the one fear that drove this entire elaborate, lifelong mental project? It wasn't death. He wrote about death constantly, accepting it as natural. It wasn't the defeat of his armies. He saw that as a matter of fate. His greatest fear was internal. It was the fear of his own corruption, the fear that the immense power he held would poison his character, that the pressure would make him cruel, unjust, angry, and tyrannical, like the bad emperors that came before, like Caligula or Nero. His ultimate terror wasn't what the world could do to him, but what the world could make him become. He was afraid of losing his own humanity. He writes, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That wasn't a challenge to the world. That was the terrified plea of a man looking in the mirror, afraid of the monster that power could create, and begging himself to hold on to his own virtue. That was his war, the one he fought every single morning in that tent. We may not rule an empire. We may not face down barbarian hordes, but we all live with our own pressures, our own anxieties, our own fears of what the world might turn us into. The lesson Marcus Aurelius leaves us, etched not in marble, but in the frantic scribbles of his private journal, is that the ultimate frontier is not outside of us, it is within. The true battle isn't with the world and its chaos, it's with the person in the mirror.